So if you were to take a stroll onto the Daniel Larson wiki page, then you would see that we are at Code Silver, which means Daniel is dead or will no longer be with us for an extended period of time. In hindsight, they really should have made those two separate codes, but nonetheless, Daniel has once again gotten himself into more trouble than he realizes. I think the last time we talked about him, he was getting arrested at a food court, and then before that, he was being arrested for thinking he had an interview with Deion Sanders.
So I'm supposed to be over there with Coach Prime, but his message he sent to me said I was supposed to be up there and get the VIP pass.
Where are you? Did you try?
I tried, but they wouldn't let me through security.
Now, the Daniel Larson lore has spanned years now, and to go over all of it would be like a 10 video, 12 hour each series that I'm just not that dedicated into starting. So I'll do the next best thing and tell you guys what he's been up to leading up to his most current arrest. So in just the month of April, he has had 8 incidents alone that basically span the whole month. From April 2nd to April 30th, he has not let law enforcement rest. On April 2nd, he was arrested for being a fugitive of justice and placed on a $1,500 bond. On April 3rd, he was released, but then 3 days later had a severe rage-fueled meltdown characterized by extreme terroristic threats and more. Now, I'm not going to play the video because it's literally just the sound of air blowing into his phone's mic, but just by looking at this screenshot I took, you can probably tell they were not exaggerating about this being a severe rage-fueled meltdown. On April 12th, it says Daniel was hospitalized with food poisoning. 12 days later, he was placed on something called an M1 hold, which basically means after evaluating him, they placed him on a mandatory 72-hour hold in a mental hospital because he was either deemed a danger to himself or others, or he is gravely disabled. One could say he fits all three. The next day, a federal warrant is issued for Daniel's arrest. 3 days later, he was kicked out of Buffalo Wild Wings for not being able to pay, and then on April 30th, he was arrested by the FBI for all the past threats he has made. Now, it says initially they thought he was being arrested for not being able to pay at Buffalo Wild Wings, but according to his manager Clark, who I'll get into soon, he was actually arrested by the FBI and could be spending up to 65 years in jail. What's even more crazy about this is that this was apparently part of a year-long investigation by the Secret Service after a Secret Service agent named Daniel McDougal was assigned to keep track of Daniel after he made threats towards the White House. Like I said, this lore gets deep, and I had no idea about any of this. Some people even thought this was fake, but then someone posted a picture of this guy's business card, and he was even the one who arrested Daniel. Now, all this information was given to us by his quote-unquote manager Clark. I talked about him a little in my previous videos, but basically he's the one who makes Daniel do 99% of what he does. When Daniel gets in trouble, he calls Clark. Whenever you see Daniel do something fucking ridiculous, like thinking he's supposed to be meeting up with Deion Sanders, that was Clark. But no matter how much they take advantage of him, Daniel, for whatever reason, trusts Clark with his life, which is both good and bad. The bad is obviously him manipulating Daniel, but the good is that because he was so close to him, it says that he was also arrested for his connection with Daniel. Now, it doesn't say any of his charges, but he did post a video saying that the police showed up to his work. And considering he has been taking advantage of Daniel for years now, it's safe to say that he's going to face some jail time or pay a big fine for whatever he was doing that ultimately led up to Daniel being arrested by the fucking FBI. There's even a phone call posted between them where Daniel is talking about how they had to evacuate a building and bring a bomb-sniffing dog because of one of his threats.
Our biggest concern is apparently EDRC. They had to fully evacuate. Yep, and they brought in bomb-sniffing dogs.
Jesus Christ.
Now, he sounds normal on the phone, but if you've seen any of Daniel Larson's arrest videos, you know that whenever he is in police custody, he turns that crazy shit off like a switch. Which is even more dangerous, because once the FBI sees how he really acts, they're going to take this even more seriously than they already are. But now, let's look at the charges this madman brought upon himself. As you can see, all except for count 6 are use or threatened use of explosive material. For count 1, it was because he threatened to blow up a Colorado courthouse. The second was because he threatened to blow up a non-profit center. The third count was the White House one. The fourth was a government building. The fifth was a college. The sixth, which wasn't a threat to a specific location, but instead to an FBI agent. And then the seventh count was when he threatened to blow up the FBI headquarters. Now, just on those counts alone, I think we have the right to throw this dude in fucking Guantanamo Bay and keep him there without questioning for like at least 15 years. Do you understand that if anyone besides Daniel Larson was making these threats, it would be all over the news. He threatened to blow up the White House and the FBI headquarters. The only other person who I feel would do that is the fucking Unabomber, and he's away for life. Now, granted, he did set off a few bombs, but Daniel's mental health is only deteriorating by the day, and while he might not attack the White House, he is perfectly capable of doing something to one of these local places he mentioned. Now, I'm not talking about rigging explosives through the building, but attacking someone and really hurting them? Yeah, I could totally see him doing that. But honestly, this is the end of the road for Daniel. He has had his time in the sun, chose the wrong people to listen to, and essentially ended up where everyone thought he was going to end up, or dead, according to this website. But I say that because each of these counts are up to 10 years in jail and a $250,000 fine for each. That's $1.7 million. Now, obviously, he's not going to get the maximum penalty for all of them, but they are definitely finding out more and more about him as the days go on, and they're going to see that he's better off in a mental hospital or anywhere that's not the public, because he has proven more than enough times that he cannot be left alone to roam the streets. I will say it is kind of sad considering how Daniel's life was growing up, but trust, people have tried to help him, but he will believe a lie way more than the truth. See you guys tomorrow or later in the day. Peace.